Welcome back to part 2 of the electric Jimny. Just a quick look around to start with. I know this video is a bit long, so sorry about that. All the updates will be a bit smaller. Just trying to cover the main points that people talk about to start with. So, I'm Danny. This is my electric Jimny. With it being a Jimny and with me fitting quite a lot of battery into the car, it does mean that I've had to get a bit a bit handy at squeezing things into different places. As such, I've also had to move the screen wash, and that's now sitting just here on some brackets. I've had to extend all the lines for it and everything, but basically when I open the bonnet it will look like this, so I'll be able to top it up from just there. And I'll also have access to the mini moto pump. Currently I haven't put in anything to do the thermal management on the Tesla cells yet. Everything is piped up and all the lines are just here and just there as well to keep the battery boxes waterproof. All the cabling's gone in through waterproof cable glands, and the cells in the cooling pipes inside go on rubber pipe like this, which is just tubally clipped inside. And then to get on the outside, again, I've used a cable glands, which is compressed around copper pipe, because obviously if you used to squash this, it'd just squash and wouldn't seal, so I've used copper pipe to get to the outside. All the centre and rear battery boxes are just here, but the front one I've not piped up yet because I haven't got anything to plug it into yet. I just wanted to get the car rolling first, and that will be one of the modifications soon after. And I think I might be able to squeeze it just below the power steering, pump and steering thing, just in this sort of space just here. But again, you have to get a bit creative with the room and where you're putting things in something this small. But yeah, that's my car so far. Because of the weight that I've removed from the front and put it more in the centre and the rear, I have had to change the springs in the car. We should be about 150 kilos heavier than the standard car, but it is only a two-seater now, so if you think of it, it's only the same as two people sat in the back all the time. I'm okay with that. Again, there's just me, the missus and the dogs, so pretty happy with that. The back's already been plyboarded, so again, there's no seats in it anyway, so I'm pretty happy with it just being a two-seater. But to compensate for the weight changes, what I've done is, on the Jimny forums, they recommend, if you're running a big heavy winch bumper or something similar, to run the diesel springs out of the diesel Jimny. So what I've done is I've got some of the diesel springs and I've put them in the rear. The 2-inch diesel springs in the rear actually gave it a 3-inch lift, so I've then run some 3-inch springs in the front to level everything out. So I did want to lower it slightly, but because of the way that the springs was sitting and the weight being weird, I've played about with different springs and I've got a level that I'm pretty happy with. So we just need some bigger tyres to go along with that. These are actually the biggest tyres that you can put on a Jimny without re-gearing, they say. I know people who have run bigger tyres, but they all say that they're lacking a bit of power, as you usually are in a Jimny, to be honest. I've never noticed that. But being electric, I don't think I'll notice anything really. I was probably going to run it in second most of the time around town and on roads up to 40-50 miles an hour, so if I have to use first, so be it. It doesn't really matter. So I'm going to be going up to bigger tyres in the near future, but that's again a future modification that we've not got to yet. What else have I not talked about yet? Things that other modifications I've got to go in the car. I've got to sort all the interior out. I haven't wired any of the controller up yet, or the BMS. I wired up the BMS in the packs, but not fully in the front of the car. Still got to wire that up. I've got to fit the throttle. The throttle runs on a bracket just here that I've mounted, and it is a cable throttle in a Jimny. I've just got to put the pot box just here. So then that should all be sorted. Again, I've then got to wire that up though and chase wires into the front for that. I have got a current sensor just down there that fits onto my BMS. I believe it's an LEM current sensor up to 750 amps, so should cover me. Again, should cover me once I've also added on all the ancillaries like the DC-DC converter and other powered range like that, I should be well under 750. I'd like to think I'd be under 600, to be honest, on max of everything. I am running 2 DC-DC converters in parallel together once I've sorted them, because being a 4x4, I've got some quite different things, I suppose. I've got the light bars and the big beacons and things like that. This is a 4x4 and it's not used mega off-road, but it does get used as a 4x4 quite regularly, to be honest. Moving forward to moving towards the centre of the car, I don't know if you can see, we are running custom seats in there just to make it a little bit nicer place to sit in. Bits and bobs just in here, so things still to go in. And if I just open the charging port for the fuel port, sorry, just for you, you can also see that inside the charging port just there we have a Type 2 charger. That has been moulded into the car. I've moulded it in so it gives a bit more of an OEM feel. But yeah, that's where we're at the moment. So one of the main problems that I've had converting this car has been space. Luckily it is a little Jimny, so you do sort of be able to get it into a garage and just walk around it, but when you've factored in all the other mess and crap that you've got in the garage that goes along with converting a car to electric, you're sort of left with maybe an arm's gap to walk around in. And at the front it's even less than that, to be honest. So yeah, that's one of the downsides of converting it. As to answer your questions, I'm sure you're going to say, what's the range on this? I'm hoping for 150 miles. People have said more, but I'd like to get 150 miles. I will try and update you as much as I can. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comments. But at the moment, we are basically nearly finished on probably the world's first electric Jimny. Watch this space. Danny out.